All right. Would someone do us the honor and the pleasure of summing up our adventures last time?
I'll go for it this time. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
So, when last we saw our ready party of adventurers, we had initially been back in the Burgomeister's home, speaking with Ismark and Irina. Went through all of our plans on how we were going to secure and fortify the location, try and keep Irina safe through the evening. Discussed what we thought we knew about vampires, a little bit about forbiddance and maybe their power to charm others. Set a watch through the evening, which was relatively uneventful, other than at one point Courage heard some skittering sounds or knocking sounds from outside, but we weren't really able to locate what that was. Having survived through the night, we moved to bring Kolyan's body with Ismark and Irina to the church to go through the burial process. We met there with Father Donovich, who assisted in the burial ritual, during which a darkly handsome yet ominous figure came floating into the graveyard, announcing himself as, or introducing himself as Strahd, giving a lot of orders to different folks. Ismark as his new Burgomeister, to Irina, who he constantly refers to as Tatiana, and even to us there at the end to keep Irina safe. We got a little lippy and a little pushbacky with Strahd, and he seemed to find that interesting, or was at least intrigued by it. Kind of laughed it off, and then Thunderboom Mike dropped his way out, leaving some of us angered, some of us fearful. But we then decided to assist or follow up on our promise to Father Donovich about trying to help with his son Doru, who has been locked up in the undercroft beneath the church for quite some time, at least a year, I think he had said at one point in time. Much of it with no food or water that he would drink or eat. We were able to convince him to let us see where he was keeping his son prisoner and to speak with him. Though he was very worried that we would attack or hurt his son in some way, shape, or form. He was definitely in all kinds of denial about what state his son was in. We were able to descend into the undercroft and saw that poor Doru was chained up, and is definitely some kind of vampire spawn, having a thirst for flesh and blood. Courage performed not an augury. Was it augury that you cast? Oh, I see. Tom's probably I think Tom's handing out snacks. But
he's doing candy.
Courage cast an augury and learned that it would be possible for us to help Doru, but incredibly difficult. And it seemed to be an indication that we may not have what we needed right now to assist. But there is definitely a possibility of that in some way, shape, or form of lifting that curse on his son. Donovich seemed to accept that his son is a vampire spawn at this point, but seemed hopeful that there might be some way to cure him in the future. We said our goodbyes to Donovich. He offered us some holy water and some books. I think we grabbed some holy water and a book called The Blade of Truth, The Uses of Logic in the War Against something. I didn't get all of it, but I think I got that much of it. We followed Irina and Ismark back toward the Burgomeister mansion, but we paused near, I believe, Mad Mary's house, where we have heard some of the wild cries as we have made our way back and forth between the church and the mansion.
All right. Thank you for that excellent summary. Yeah, you're standing outside Mad Mary's. Oh, look at that husky girl.
Oh, puppy.
She's loving Halloween.
No costume for Dav.
She's clearly dressed as the greatest of calamities.
Every day of my life.
Bobby's not happy if firework went off next to our house while Jaime was giving the recap. And poor Bobby is now huddled under the table at my feet, being pet by me.
Poor Bob.
Yeah, he's not a happy boy.
You should go poop in front of your neighbor's house.
Yeah.
Make a statement.
All right. Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
Let's go.
So we're in front of Mary's house.
In front of Mary's house. You notice standing right in front of it that it is boarded up, but you can still hear her crying inside.
And are Ismark and Arena with us?
I believe they went home and said they would meet you at their house.
Yes.
I am going to step up. So the door is there, but it's boarded over.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to step up and...
The door doesn't look boarded over, but, like, the windows all do.
The windows all are. Okay. I am going to step up and listen at the door and see if I can discern words in what the screaming is.
Sure. Roll a perception check.
Woo! 19 plus... this is good. Perception for me is +2. 21!
All right, 21. It's mostly just, like, that wailing that you do when you're in, like, such deep pain. Like, but occasionally you hear murmurs. It's tough because the sound is really faint for the most part, besides the wails, but like kind of like, and you can't quite make it out, even with a 21. But it sounds like she's calling a name.
I am going to use one of my 4 divine senses so that I can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet, not behind total cover. Well, wait, no! The door is total cover. Never mind. I'm not using that. I will wait until we get inside.
All right.
Is there... so you said that the windows are boarded up on this house. The houses around it, are the, like, just in the street, the other houses nearby, are they boarded up as well, or is this the only one?
Yeah, I'd say, like, all the houses are sort of in varying states of being boarded up.
Okay.
Some look, I would say, like, the ones that are not boarded up are very clearly abandoned.
So there's nothing, is there anything, like, immediately visually distinctive about this house, aside from the wailing that's coming from inside, but nothing otherwise distinctive.
Otherwise, like, looks like neighbors' houses and,
like,
the same general sense.
I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say to the group, I say we go in.
Well, let's knock first.
Okay. Sounds good. Who wants to knock? I can knock if no one else wants to knock.
Well, can we establish what is it exactly that we're aiming to do here? Are we just trying to find out what sort of plight the poor lady is suffering from, or I suppose I'm wondering a bit if it's any of our business, really.
Well, that's a great question. I would consider this, if someone's clearly in great pain, it's a wellness check.
Yeah.
If there's anything we can do for them, great. And if this is how they're mourning and wish to be left alone, I'm sure they'll make it clear quickly.
Yeah, agreed. Totally. I can knock if no one else wants to.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I'll check Beatrix's hands. Do her hands look good for knocking? Wearing glass gauntlets or...
Nobody How are your hands good for knocking, Beatrix?
I mean, I've knocked a lot of doors in my time, but this is a very interesting query, but okay. I guess
I
we'll
don't
see,
know. Maybe
huh?
she's holding a lot of potatoes and like, I can knock. But it's honest.
Where would I have gotten a lot of potatoes?
Filtress, obviously.
Right. So I'm gonna knock gently but firmly on the door and say, "Hello, Mary. We're here to help you. The burgomaster sent us."
Gently but firmly.
Yeah,
Like,
Like,
I
not
took
like-
it to mean like friendly, right?
yeah,
Okay,
like friendly.
alright,
Yeah,
alright.
yeah, friendly knock. Yeah,
Opposed to like the police knock. I'm like, duh, 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 duh.
yeah.
You knock, you don't hear a change in the wailing, but I would say you notice when you knock that it sounds like this is a pretty thick door.
This is a pretty thick door. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna try a little harder. So now I'm gonna really pound, and I'm gonna say, "Hello, Mary. The burgomaster sent us."
It seems like you could use some help. I'll give you guidance for knocking.
Knock guidance? Do I need knock guidance?
Go ahead and make a strength check for me for how
Right? Okay.
with guidance.
All right, with guidance. With guidance, I have a D4. Okay. All right, 15 plus 3. 18 plus my modifier is plus 3, so 21.
All right. So Beatrix, you're feeling really empowered, and you're like, "Oh, I really want her to hear me," and you go whoop 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 against the door because it's a really tough knock, and you weren't meaning to knock quite that hard. And in doing so, you pop the door open. You hear the wood behind it splinter.
Whoa!
And the door creaks open.
Oops.
Mm.
I'm gonna stay back from the lintel. I'm not gonna step into the place. And I'm gonna say, "Hello, Mary. Sorry to disturb. The burgomaster sent us."
You can tell on that you're inside now. That the sound's coming from upstairs.
Okay. What do we see through the open door?
You see as you come in, you're stepping into like a living space, like a little like a sitting area. Sorry. And there's a small kitchen off the living space, and a staircase that goes upstairs. It's not a big house.
Do I notice any signs of disturbance?
No, if anything, it looks like this space hasn't been used very much in recent days. It sort of has that feeling of like I don't come in here much anymore.
Is it? How about signs of like neglect or misuse, like dirty, flies?
No, not dirty or flies.
Snakes.
Just like you don't see like personal belongings, but it also doesn't look recently cleaned.
And is there a fire in the hearth or anything?
There is not.
Lucian's gonna walk on
How wide
in.
is the staircase?
All right.
Lucian's walking
goes
on it. I'm going in.
Great.
All right.
You walk into the living room.
He's walking in and he's listening. You said it sounds like someone's coming from upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
He just.
Yeah, you can hear the crying up the stairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn back and look at everybody out on the outside and be like, helping, breaking, and entering. Either way, we're in. Let's see if we can't find this poor lady. And he's gonna make for the stairs.
How wide are the stairs? Can two people walk abreast?
No, they're pretty narrow, so I'd say one abreast.
Okay, I'm gonna follow Lucian.
Okay, so you got Lucian, Beatrix. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna stay downstairs and just kind of wait.
All right.
Is there any light inside the house? We buried Colleen in the morning, and then we dealt with Dorus. Is it still morning, afternoon? Where
We
are we?
buried him at dawn.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely still morning.
But with the mist,
Maybe like 10 o'clock?
is it with the mist? Is it dark in here? Do we need light? Is part of what I'm thinking.
I would say it's a dim light in here because the windows are boarded over. Like some light comes through the cracks between the boards. So if you have dark vision, I'd say you can see fine. If you have normal vision, I think you'd be rolling perception checks at disadvantage. Is that right? Roll-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Lucian's going to reach into his the pouches that he has kind of strewn about his robes and his belt. He's going to pull out a candle, pause with a flint and steel, and light it and stick it on that arm of his staff that kind of sticks out. So there's a little bit of candlelight.
All right, so Lucian's going up. Beatrix is behind him. Elandra's downstairs. Courage
is
and Callow?
also going up.
Okay.
In the candlelight, does Lucian look scary?
That's up to Lucian.
Lucian has the angles of his face look like they're carved in stone. So he's casting shadows just from the candlelight. He's harsh looking in bright sunshine. he's not great in shadow and half-life. So it's he's rather severe looking.
You're right, Lucian. We should make haste. Do try to smile more, though.
So Lucian is going to try to smile, but it kind of comes across like the Cheshire Cat's grin. It's a little maniacal, and you realize that he has very pointy teeth, kind of, and like odd gaps.
Maybe
it's not the best smile you've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe less smile, more go for like concerned face.
He rolls just one eyebrow up.
Perfect. As good as we'll get.
Callow, you coming?
I can't help but think that this is maybe a little bit importunate to impose on this poor woman and just allow ourselves into their house. She doesn't seem to have acknowledged our presence in any way.
She doesn't want us here, we'll leave. But the fact that no one seems interested in helping anyone else in this town freaks me out a little bit. So I'm going to go with my gut here, and my gut says at least offer help.
Very well. I just makes me a bit uncomfortable barging into an unknown woman's bedchamber when she's in such distress.
We won't barge, will we, Lucian?
Maybe Lucian knocks this time.
The door's already off its hinges. I think we've barged as much as we can. Now we simply need to
but we barged
offer some
nicely.
Very, very nicely. Lucian's going to continue on up the stairs.
Right.
Callow will just kind of hang back a little bit, not necessarily following them up the stairs, but sort of standing at the base of the stairs, kind of watching the rest of them make their way up.
All right. So Callow and Elandra downstairs. Lucian, Beatrix, Courage going up. So the folks going upstairs, when you get there, it's a short staircase, small house. You see two rooms off of the little hallway, and one is like closer to you on the left, and the other is sort of at the end of the hallway, and the crying sounds like it's coming from that back room, and the door is creaked open a bit.
Is the door to the other room open or closed?
It is not. It's closed.
Okay. Now that we're up here, I'm gonna say again, Mary, hello? The Burgomaster sent us to see if you need help.
Wellness check.
You hear the crying pauses.
Mary? Can you hear us? Would you like us to leave?
Are you okay? Are you okay, Mary?
My good.
What was that? Did anyone catch that?
Did we hear that downstairs?
Yeah, you can hear her crying.
Okay.
My what? My what? In the what now? Gertruda. Gertruda? Okay, I'm gonna say, hey, we're coming towards your room. We're here to help. I'm gonna start inching forward along the hallway, sort of start to open the door very gently. I'm not stepping across yet. I'm just pushing open the door. Like, hello, my name is Beatrix. The burgomaster sent me. As you can see, I serve the Morning Lord. I'm here to help.
Right. So Beatrix shuffles in front of Lucian, cracks the door open, and as you do, you see a woman. Her back is to you right now, but she's sitting on the floor. You can see she's got dark brown hair peeking out from under a burlap hood. It looks greasy, even from where you are. And she looks like she's clutching something and rocking back and forth.
All right, now I'm going to cast Divine Sense.
Okay. Your pain comes back, like, normal, I guess. Like, you don't sense it's a divine, undead, or fiend. Is that right?
Yeah, or anything affected by the Hallow spell.
Yeah. Doesn't pick up anything.
Okay. I'm gonna say, hello, Mary. We're here to help. I'm in the doorway. I'm gonna approach you now, okay? I'm walking right up behind you. Okay. And I'm gonna start walking toward her.
All right. What are folks downstairs doing?
Not sure I like this. This just seems like an invasion of privacy. Not sure what we're doing here.
Agreed. I think we should just listen, and we can always run up if they need help. I don't think we should bombard her with all of us in the room.
No, certainly not.
So yeah, I think we're just. I'm just listening to see if anything kind of shakes out from their visit.
All right. Actually, will you both roll perception checks for me?
That is a 19 plus 21.
For Callow. 6. Oh, that's a nat 1. All right.
Yeah.
Elandra, I feel like you looked over into the kitchen while you were sort of like looking around down there, and you notice you hadn't been able to see it from the front door, but she's got a sink, and you notice in the sink there what was probably dishes that had food on it, but has since grown over with some really interesting fungi. And mold.
Yeah, I'd like to go look at that.
Yeah, you are just entranced with this fungi because it's like different than I feel like different foods sort of have different molds whenever they go bad. And this is one you haven't seen before, so you're just like in it.
Perfect.
But Callow, you're going to be able to hear pretty much everything that's going on upstairs with that 21. Oh, Tom the Pirate Tom the Admiral, I'm sorry, is giving out candy. That's really cute. Beatrix, you walk into the room?
Yes. And I slowly approach her, and she's sort of sitting on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like a small bed in the corner, but she's not sitting on it. The sheets are all messed up. It smells in here, like not like death, but like unwashed human.
Yeah. I'm gonna sort of slowly walk around in front of her, facing her. What do I see?
You see, this will be in the Legend Keeper too. But yeah, you see a human woman. She looks like she's probably in her 40s or so, like middle-aged. The dark brown, greasy hair, burlap sack. She's clearly not well off. And her face, she looks like sallow and wan and just like, she hasn't been taking care of herself. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Beatrix. I'm a friend of the Burgomaster and Irina. They sent me to check on you. I serve the Morning Lord.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. And nice of them that Irina, she was always so great.
Yes, she is. She's great, and she's doing okay. We're here to protect her now. Me and my, friends. Anyway, what is she holding? Can I see what she's holding?
Yeah, you can see from where you're standing. Like, I'm assuming you kind of kneel down to be at her level.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see that she's clutching a doll.
What does the doll look like? Is it like a rag doll?
It's hard for you to tell, because she's got it clutched so closely. Like, you can tell it's probably wearing a dress, like a little sackcloth dress.
Alright, I'm gonna kneel down, and I'm gonna say, can you tell me what's troubling you? We want to help you.
It's my daughter, Gertruda.
How old is she?
I just love her so much. She's 16. And she, I kept her my whole life. I was so worried about her. And, it's just not safe out there. So I kept her inside. And
yes.
A week ago, she broke up. And I haven't seen her since. I'm just so worried.
I'm so sorry.
She's everything to me.
Of course. What does she look like?
Oh, she's so lovely. She just has the most beautiful raven hair and these big blue eyes and this fine bone structure, and she's so beautiful.
Okay, all right. Has the Count shown any undue interest in her?
I know. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Colleen the Burgomaster?
No. Strahd, the Devil Strahd.
The Devil. I mean, not that I know of, but he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere, and he likes. Well, anyway. Okay. Thank you for telling us. We will ask around to see if anyone has seen her.
You'll help me. You'll help me find her.
Of course. Of course we'll help.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
That's so terrible.
Do you have anything to eat? Do you have food?
I don't know. I was eating some bread for a bit. I don't really know.
Okay. I'm gonna take like a ration bar thing out of my listen. You need to be strong for Gertruda, okay? For when she comes home. Right? You need to be strong for her. We're gonna go look for her, okay? We will do our best.
Okay.
Did your daughter have any friends here? Anyone she might have tried to go see?
No, I mean, I'm the only person she knows.
And when you say she escaped, do you mean like you weren't letting her go out already?
Yes, I was so, it's so dangerous outside. I hadn't let her leave the house.
In how long?
Her whole life.
Okay.
And I gave her everything that I could. I don't understand why she would leave. I mean, she was safe here, and, I'm not rich, but we had food, and I try to give her books and keep her entertained.
Is this other door her bedroom? Oh, I'm Puredeed, Courage Puredeed, a priestess of Shantea. Yes, we're happy to help look for her. Is this her room, this other door? Could we check for signs of where she might have gone? All right.
Okay. Listen to me,
Don't disturb it too much. It's her room, and I want it to be the same for her when she comes back.
Of course. You need to be strong for her. Okay? She loves you. She wouldn't want you to neglect yourself. Think of how you would want her to behave if she were alone and sad, how you would want her to take care of herself. And treat yourself that way. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. You be strong. Be strong.
Okay.
We're here. We're going to help you.
Lucian, could you come with me?
Certainly. As Lucian passes out of the room, I'm going to try and catch Beatrix's eye and mimic eating some food. If this woman has been in here mourning the loss of her daughter for a week or more, she might be malnourished. Some food might help us win her over even more.
Yeah. I'm going to open up my little ration pack and I'm going to give her a little piece. And say,
Great.
here, try it. See if you like it.
To like take it and kind of like nibble on it, and she just looks like she's so exhausted from being this worried and crying. It's almost like she's eating mindlessly, but she eats. Like she's clearly, it's clear her like lizard brain wants her to eat. So
I'm going to give her the rest of it slowly.
Also, when she takes the ration from you, she puts the doll down on the ground next to her. And you see, you notice it because it's not like it's not exactly a normal doll. Looking down at it, it looks like it was not formed well, and the face has this strange leer on it. Like,
uh-oh. Okay. And I'm gonna say, listen, I know we've just met and this may be forward, but would you like a hug?
you know what? Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Also, she's in like fucking
But you're gonna
chainmail,
get
so
one.
It's gonna be interesting. Oh man! I rolled a 2. What's my plus? Let's see. +5, 7.
That's very nice of you, but I think I'm a little. Your armor's. It doesn't look very soft.
Totally understand. You know, I mean, I have to protect myself, but it doesn't make me very cuddly. I got you.
Thank you for asking first.
Yeah. Would you like to hold my hand?
Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. So Courage and Lucian, you guys are going down a group through this room?
Lucian, I think I'm more of a people person than a figure things out person. Something about this feels weird, though.
Is it the fact that she's in there crying at a doll over her daughter who has escaped this prison of a home? Yeah, this is wonky bananas.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure who the bad guy is here. And we'll head into the bedroom. What do we see?
So you come in, and you see, it looks like a girl's bedroom. She has like nicer stuff than her mom does. Okay. Sorry. Alchemy was like, "Are you still there?" Yes. Thank you, Alchemy. So she comes so you come to the room. She's got like a very nice quilt on her bed and this, big fluffy pillow and a dresser with a little mirror. And you see, on the floor, the window is like slightly cracked and you can see where like she had taken off the boards from the window. And there aren't as many upstairs as there are downstairs. Window's cracked, and you see this like her sheets tied up. So like she's clearly put her quilts back, but used her sheets to make herself a little rope. Do an investigation check if you want to look further at stuff. I can't hear you, Tom. I know you're talking because of the other room, but...
Lucian, if you don't mind, I'll have Shantae help us.
Perfect.
And we'll give Lucian guidance, and would love to assist him.
Yeah. Would you rather roll separately or have Lucian roll with advantage?
I'd give Lucian some double rolling if
all right.
In good shape.
I got a 10 the first time. Even worse the second time, and then is it a guidance is 1d4?
Mm-hmm.
So high of 11.
11.
Just above average.
You start sort of rifling around, and I feel like I would assume Lucian would feel at least slightly uncomfortable because as you start to kind of open up drawers, she's got like her frilly under things.
It's okay. I'll tell you if it's underwear before you look. It's okay. No dildos here. Next drawer.
You see, it's Lucian's long hands are just taking individual pieces out and move, clearly not performing a good search. Just uncomfortable touching anything.
On the evidence. Move.
So eventually you sort of go through her room, and mostly it doesn't seem like things are out of the ordinary. But as you're finishing up, you notice a piece of paper that's fallen on the floor.
I'm going to pick that up and look at it.
All right.
Great spot, Lucian. I wouldn't have seen it.
It says, Dear Mama, I love you so much, but it's time for me to get out and explore the world. I'm headed to the castle to meet my prince. Look for me in a carriage, laughing as I drive by. Love, Gertruda.
Uh-oh.
That's the best
Well, shit. Damn.
Dang it, why can't we send GIF reactions in Alchemy?
You can.
You can?
I think if you pay, you can copy and I think you
paste
can.
the image.
I think you can copy and paste the URL, maybe.
Oh. Well, that was the image that I wanted to send.
What was?
It's in
In
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
it's in the Discord. Okay, I shut Discord.
Huh. Well, I guess that corroborates the story. I think we'll let her know, and otherwise there's not much we can do at this point.
You notice on this note that it's pretty tear stained, so it seems clear that Mary has read this note. Unless, of course, Gertruda cried all over it, but it seems like it was quite happy, so you assume.
That's funny, though. It seems clear that she's going to Strahd's castle, but Mary said Strahd hadn't shown any interest in her. Well, I'll go let Elandra and Callow know what's going on, just in case they want to check in. What do you think, Lucian? Anything we can... I don't think there's anything for us to do here except offer her some solace. Maybe send her to the church, but that doesn't seem any safer.
Well, at the very least, we have a description of the young girl and a name. We can always try to keep an eye out for her, but I fear that if she decided to make her way to the castle to find her prince, Strahd may have simply had himself a midnight snack. But
Indeed.
let's not torture this poor woman more than she's already torturing herself. to keep a child locked up for fear of its safety. I don't know if that's an act of extreme cruelty or one of extreme love, but either way, I don't want to add to her distress.
Agreed. Okay. I'll go downstairs and let Elandra and Callow know what we found. Leaving
Great.
Lucian with the note.
I'm going to be cleaning the kitchen.
I love it. Do you take any of the mold?
And I did save some of the fungus.
Yes.
Yeah. Dishes clanking, loud noises, that's sort of what's going on with me.
Amazing. So as Courage, as you go downstairs, it already feels more lived in and less desolate than it did when you went upstairs because of these like very normal sounds of dishes being done and like some of the stank of what's the word I want? Yeah, just like that sadness stank is starting to dissipate.
Sad stank.
That morning taint.
It's more. Yes, that's the one.
Do you all know if, like, with Druidcraft, can I, like, make it smell better?
I say yes. I'm the DM.
Right.
I make the rules. I say yes.
I know.
I mean, the smell is probably coming
make,
from
like
it's probably
Yeah.
coming from like spores and like
Right.
stuff like that. So you can,
But I'm wondering, like, I think with that spell, like, you can make something smell.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's a harmless sensory effect. I think the example is they say
Perfect.
you could make like the smell of a skunk.
Yeah, I see like faint odor of a skunk. So, like, can I do the opposite?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like anything nature related.
All right. So I'm gonna make it smell like flowers in here.
Some happiness stank.
Amazing. Yeah.
Lucian puts the note back in the dresser. He's not going to keep it. I'm going to make my way back down the hall to let Beatrix know, and to say to Mary, we didn't find anything that gives us immediate knowledge of where to look for your daughter, but with the description that you've given us, we will certainly do whatever we can as we learn more of Barovia and this area, and as we travel, to certainly keep a fine eye out for your daughter and to let her know that she is much missed and that her mother is here waiting for her return.
Thank you so much. What's your name again?
My name is Lucian.
That's so sweet, Lucian.
And I'm gonna say, Mary, just remember, take care of your daughter take care of yourself the way you would take care of your daughter right now, okay? If she comes home and you're in a state, that's no good. Be strong for her, okay? We will do our best.
Okay. And she'll, if you guys head downstairs, she'll kind of follow you down there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna turn around and head downstairs.
Courage is trying to put the door back on its hinges.
I was just gonna say she gets to the stairs and she's like, "What happened to the door?" Would you? Do you feel like this is more dexterity or intelligence based for Courage? Because I feel like it could go either way.
Depends on the damage.
I'd say when Beatrix knocked with the force of the gods, it broke the lock a little bit, so splintered some wood.
Okay. Yeah, then probably just you don't have anything. I don't have any glue. Don't have any mending.
Never heard of glue in D&D.
Yeah, we'll just try to, like, jimmy it back in shape. Dexterity sounds
Alright, go ahead and make a dex check.
fine. As much as we can do in this situation. Bam. Oh, there we go.
Oh, damn. Yeah, no problem. You're able to sort of, like, smooth the wood back into place and get the lock to line up again. And honestly, it's probably in better shape than it was before. You did notice, coming at it from the side, that, like, there had been barricades up on the door. We're going to say you, like, remove the dangerous splintered wood so the door's functional again.
Mm-hmm. Says nothing.
All right. Excellent. Anything else you guys would like to do?
Is there any kind of a larder or pantry in the kitchen that Elandra has been cleaning?
Yeah.
Lucian is going to put 3 days worth of rations in it.
Is he gonna smile while he does it?
No. No. He's frowning.
Boo!
Mary, we were just checking your door. This is our other compatriots, Elandra and Professor Callow. This is Mary.
Pleased to meet you, my lady.
Hi. It's
Nice to meet you, Mary.
Nice to meet you both. Thank you for... I'm so embarrassed that you're seeing my house like this and me like this and...
What do you mean? The house smells great.
Well, I think it's because of what these two are doing. That's just it's so nice of you.
You're very welcome.
It's the neighborly thing to do for someone going through a hard time.
Did she bring the doll downstairs with her?
Yeah, I'd say so. She's just like holding it in her hand. Like, it's not even clear that she realizes that she's holding it, you know? Like, she's so out of it.
Well, Mary, we're gonna go start looking, but please take care of yourself. And I'm gonna start walking out the door. And as I leave, I'm gonna say, don't hesitate to go to the burgomaster if you need anything.
What?
Okay.
And Mary, if I could ask you a favor, could you check in on Priest Donovich? His son's also having trouble right now, and it seems like the two of you might be able to share some grief.
Oh, yeah, nobody's been seeing him for the last year because there's this screaming that's happening at the church, and it's really...
Oh, yeah, that's his son. That's his son. Yeah, his
What?
son is... Yeah, his son is... Well, his son is...
Is ill.
His son, his son's experiencing some minor illnesses. It's nothing contagious, of course, but not contagious in the traditional sense, but yes. No.
Well, now I feel really bad that I didn't go see him before. I was just, it was so unnerving that you need to approach the church and leave again before going in. Of course, I'll go see him. It's a wonderful idea.
Is there anything else we can do to help you before we head out?
Oh, you've already done so much, and the fact that you're going to look for my Gertruda means the world to me.
Of course. Please take good care of yourself, Mary. Please.
I will, thank you.
And we go.
Right. And as we go out and the door shuts behind us, I'm going to turn to Courage and to Lucian and say, "What did you really not find anything? What was there?"
Let us move away from the home a bit and ensure the lady doesn't hear us.
Okay. All right. We're walking back towards the burgomaster's, right?
Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else. Is there anywhere else we want to go before we go back? I know we went shopping and it didn't go so great, or there's the tavern, but...
Yeah.
We can rob the store.
Without
rob the tavern.
necessarily making others aware of this. He's not trying to be stealthy, but Callow, just following his own curiosity, will kind of wander just across the street as we all walk out, and just kind of look at the house across the street. Is it boarded up? Are there windows or anything like that?
There are windows. It does look a little bit boarded up, in a similar way to the other houses you've seen here. But you can tell there's like a soft glow on the inside, so it does look like there are people there.
Okay. But so there's not like boards over the like completely covering the windows.
Yeah, it's more like a crisscross to prevent people from being able to easily come in, but still allow some light.
Gotcha. Are the windows how high off the ground are the windows?
Are there boxes in the alleyway?
Just kind of, are they like normal window height, or are they?
Yeah, I'd say so. They're normal.
Unusually low.
I'd say on his tiptoes, like he might be able to like peek his nose up over the bottom sill and sort of peek in this bottom triangle space.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of like very casually, like I think he will not like try to like look in, but almost sort of like walk over casually and just sort of do a little just kind of look in, almost as if it's just sort of like, oh, I just decided to jump right there for no reason whatsoever.
All right, go ahead and make a perception check.
It's a 10 plus 2, 12.
12. As you pop up, you can see two people, and they look like they're sitting at a table, but that's the best like look that you get.
But you said there is light coming from inside. So
yeah, it looks like they've got some candles.
Any signs or anything? Like, is just a house, or is there any sort of?
Yeah, just a house.
All right, nothing. Just kind of we'll skip to catch up with the rest of the people.
Smells nice, like maybe they're eating or recently cooked something delicious.
I'll just kind of skip a little to catch up with the rest of the people as they're heading off in that direction.
Right. Yeah, you can do that, no problem. All right. Anything else anyone wants? You're headed back to the Burgomasters?
Yeah, I want to know what happened.
On the way to the
as we're walking, I'm gonna ask if they found anything and sort of why the weird faces as we left.
Hang on, I'm just taking a note here real quick. That poor unfortunate woman is a broken creature right now. She has been protecting her daughter for her entire life, and her daughter chose to escape from this town, from this place, from the creatures that leave these scratches on all the doors and walls. But her daughter chose to escape. There were signs in her bedroom that she wove her bedding together and climbed out and down from her window. And we found a tear-stained message that said that while she loved her mother, she had to get out and explore the world and was going to look for her prince at the castle.
Excuse me, prince at the castle?
It would appear that she has made her way to meet Strahd. I'd like to imagine there's a crash of thunder behind us that illuminates Castle Ravenloft up on the hill.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of like one of those deep booms that like.
Fuck. I'm gonna like aim the butt of my glaive at the nearest like piece of debris and just like vent my feelings. This fucking fuckers! Fucking fuck!
The problem we find ourselves with is that she escaped at least a week ago. She would have had more than enough time to make her way to the castle if that's where she was going. We simply promised Mary that we would keep an eye out for her daughter, and I did not let her know that we found the note. But I fear that her poor child is certainly not in the state that she was in before she left. But this place
We're certainly making a lot of promises to people.
I don't know if this will be one that we have to keep. I have a feeling that young Gertrude is probably no longer with us. But
hey, you don't know that. You don't know that. Shut up. You don't know that.
Afraid I have to agree with our friend Mr. Ravenstone here. Doesn't bode well for Gertrude.
I mean, it's not good. It's not good, but it doesn't mean she's dead. I mean, he takes these wives and he must keep them alive for at least a little while he has whatever kind of fun he wants to have, right? I mean, come on. She may still be with us.
Don't know if that's better.
Possible. No, as you say, Miss Puredeed, which is worse, death or enthrallment to this devil himself?
Well, what's enthralled can be unenthralled.
Aside from
makes sense linguistically.
Aside from my personal beliefs on the health of young Gertrude, I didn't want to remove any sense of hope from Mary. This town seems devoid of hope as it is, and another broken parent mourning a child didn't seem necessary. So we will keep our eyes open looking for Gertrude, whether I think she's alive or not. Mm-hmm. The question becomes...
If you ask me, it seems as though there's a good deal of denial happening among the people of this town. Everyone seems not able to admit the horrible fate that they all seem to be resigned to. I don't know what is... well, there may be a fine line between false hope and denial, and I'm not sure when we have crossed it.
It just seems like such an intense state of loss. Someone loses a friend or a relative, and it's sad, and it stays for a while. It seems like they've been under that constant pressure for much longer. And chronic. Chronic sadness.
I would hypothesize that it's something far deeper with this place, this land of mist that we somehow found ourselves in. This town is like a graveyard. Look at all of these empty houses. The wounds from claw and tooth that mar all the wood and the doors. The stories we hear of Strahd and how he preys upon them. The things we hear about people being born here without a spark or a soul, who are like that poor tavern keeper. There's something far, far darker at work here, and I think we are just scratching the surface of it. how all of these people can just simply accept this. We've been here for the barest fraction of what they've lived through, and everything about this place feels wrong. But yet they live here and suffer through it day to day. How is that even possible? It's. I think you're right, Hieronymus. It is not hope. It is not denial. I don't know what to call it.
Lucian, I think you're absolutely right. And I think we've only seen the people that have survived. Everyone else that couldn't stand it probably fought against it and are no longer here. These are the ones that have tolerated it to this state.
Well, let's
so
get
what
Irina
hope do
out.
we have? What hope do we
Yeah,
have?
what are we doing here?
As newcomers who have only been here less than 2 days? What hope do we have to be going around making all of these promises to these people that will find their missing daughters and heal their sons from this terrible affliction? As you say, these folks have been living under this horrible oppression for so long and have found no solace, no potential for escape, no potential for true hope. I'm not quite sure what we can offer in that regard.
Professor Callow, do you want to go home?
Well,
Don't we all?
I don't suppose that's particularly relevant whether or not I want to go home, because it seems as though it's impossible at the moment. And
I
so
don't see
dwelling
a way
on
home.
that sort of desire.
I don't see a way home that doesn't involve setting ourselves against this monster.
No, you may be right. But that doesn't give me a great deal of... Well, doesn't make me feel particularly optimistic.
Well, I bet I think we're right to be cautious and wary, but I bet they've never had a professor emeritus here, or champions of both Shantae and Lathander, or whatever your deal is, gesturing at Lucian.
What is your deal, by the way?
No,
you haven't told us what your deal is.
If he
Everyone
explained
else
it, it
is
would ruin
very
it.
upfront. Everybody else is very upfront about your deal. Their deal. I think it's time for you to tell us your deal. What is your deal?
Let's go back into the mansion and make ourselves comfortable if we indeed want to discuss what we do next and what drives us. At least let us be comfortable while we do it, and we can check in on Ismark and Irina.
That's a good idea, and we should see if there's still time to leave town today, whether we could make it to that halfway point they mentioned.
Good idea. Let's do it.
All right. I would say you guys are. It's not the Burgomaster's house is very close to Mad Mary's house. So you've basically been standing outside, like arguing for the last, or not arguing, discussing for the last couple of minutes.
What? No. Okay.
No, I think it makes sense. So it's like you were already conversing.
No, we are. We're arguing. Beatrix is pissed off.
There's a combination of discussing and debating and arguing. All right. Elandra, you were going to say something earlier. I just want to make sure we gave space for that.
Yeah, I think I was just going to say what's next for us. So I feel like we're right in the way of that.
Just want to make sure. All right, you head inside.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome. And
Courage, Courage will whisper to Elandra on the way in, like, and you're great too, I just didn't have something off the cuff for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you head inside the Burgermaster's. You have to knock, but Ismark comes to the door pretty quickly. Yes, my friends, I'm so glad to see you're back. Come in. Irina's upstairs. She's finishing her packing. Can I get you refreshments of any kind? It's almost lunchtime, I believe. We have some sandwiches prepared.
Wouldn't say no to something stronger than a sandwich.
Like a soup or a drink. You want to drink, my friend. Aha! I will get you some wine.
Yes, something of that persuasion.
All right. He will bustle into the kitchen, bring out like a plate of sandwiches, wine and water for all of you, not mixed.
Callow will also take like 2 sandwiches and just start eating the sandwiches in addition to the wine.
What do you have that's a good morning wine?
Oh, yes, I believe the Sancerre is the breakfast wine.
Is that a rosé peach?
No, it's a white wine. I will get it for you.
Sounds like Strahd would hate it.
Perhaps he likes the finer things, and he lives in that castle. But
Well, I think we need to determine where we choose to go next, and how we choose to be seen by those we encounter. I worry that some of the actions we are taking very clearly set us out as being against the Devil's Strahd, which I think we all agree in some way we are. But as he is the ruler of this land and clearly rules it with an iron fist, I think we have to be very careful how we portray ourselves going forward. Through no fault of anyone's, I think we have good-heartedly and good-naturedly blundered into a situation far larger than ourselves. And I fear that we can be swept up very easily.
I couldn't agree more, Mr. Ravenstone. I think a bit more subtlety may be required in our dealings with the locals here. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I don't think we want to go into every situation glaives blazing, so to speak.
It really stomps my seedlings, but I think Professor Callow's right. We'll probably get one shot at this monster.
And what is our goal? It seems like we've lost sight of some of our goals.
If you're ever setting a glaive on fire, you're fucking doing it wrong, okay? Secondly, I don't know who taught you pole arms. But don't set them on fire. Don't fucking do that.
I think it was just an expression, but it's got a nice ring to it.
Yes, maybe after we've mastered subtlety, we could take a bit of time to discuss metaphor.
Oh, right. The metaphorical flaming glaive, because everyone knows all about that famous metaphor. Anyway, I don't understand what you mean by subtlety. Were we supposed to just like let that bastard walk up to Irina and charm her into walking away with him? Were we supposed to just ignore a crying woman screaming? What would you rather we had done? Walk away from all of it?
Miss Beatrix, I don't know that you quite understand the magnitude of this villain which we are up against. I don't believe that might is alone enough to stand against him. Nor do I believe that directly antagonizing him without a clearer plan will result in anything other than, well, our most likely highly painful demise.
Okay, what's the plan?
Well, I
There's
can't
a
think of
plan.
anything more futile than simply staying here. It seems as though we have some direction to perhaps head out of town, and well, frankly, the idea of getting a bit further from that castle is intriguing to me, to say the least. So, well, I believe we set out and see where the road may take us and what new information we may find.
Ismark will interrupt you and be like, I thought you were going to take my sister to Vallaki or the Abbey.
Yes, indeed. That's what I was referring to, of course.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure that we are still clear on our deal. It's extremely important, as you saw.
Yes, indeed. No, I can't agree more that getting Miss Irina as far away from the Curse of Strahd as possible seems to be the best course of action at the moment.
Is Irina here as well?
She's upstairs packing. You can kind of hear her like noises, drawers opening and stuff.
So when do we want to head out on this journey?
Exactly how many hours are there until sunset?
It is lunchtime. I would say there are approximately 6 to 6.5 hours until sunset.
Great.
Aww.
Ismark, you suggested Vallaki or the Abbey. Which is closer?
Well, Vallaki is much closer. The Abbey is in the far west of Barovia. But I thought Vallaki because I hear it is very fortified, a very strong town against Strahd, and that she would be safe there, and that is a safe place. But sorry, I'm French tonight. But Donovich, suggested the Abbey, and I think if he suggested it, it could also be good. But Vallaki is on the same road as to the Abbey, so maybe you decide on the way.
Try Vallaki first, see what happens. I'm comfortable with that.
Is this road that we'll travel, is that the old Svalich road that we followed in?
Yeah.
In it, before we met you in the tavern, when we were speaking with the young women who were telling us more about the lands of Barovia, they made mention that if we need more information or want to know about Strahd, that we should speak with a Madame Eva at the Zare encampment. Is that along the way toward Vallaki, or is that in a different direction?
Well, the sub pool, yes, that is in the direction. In fact, I would recommend that is where you stay the night. It is about halfway on the journey to Vallaki.
How long does it take to travel from the village to the pool?
I'd say about 6 hours.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Yes, I can't see much reason to sit around here much longer.
Are there any dangers that we should be aware of that we might come across along the way? Anything that we should bring for the trip?
mean, I would say bring food. Of course, the old Svalbard road is always a bit dangerous. You know, we don't travel much here in Barovia. But I'd say be ready for anything. Keep your wits about you, you know, and don't travel at night. That we all know. All Barovians grow up learning this. Do not travel in this Svalbard road at night.
You will be coming with us, won't you?
Would you like me to?
Well, I think it.
I just heard him go, ahoy!
So great.
The cutest. Favorite.
Yeah,
you can go ahead and roll a persuasion check as part of this if you'd like.
I'm gonna cast guidance on myself.
All right, and I don't know if you saw my note to you earlier. You can roll with advantage.
Let's do that.
Ooh. Well, yes, of course I'm going to come with you. I
23.
insist on it. In fact, I don't. If you decide to go past the Malaki, I might have to come back because I am burgomaster now. So it's important that I take up my duties here. But yes, I think it is a good idea that I come with you.
I'm sure it will make your sister feel more comfortable as we travel. And he was carrying a sword at some point, wasn't he? Was that? Did we? I was gonna say it. And if we have need of a strong sword arm, I'm sure that you can come to our aid. So the more of us
Absolutely.
traveling together, the better.
And Irina too is very good with swords. We practice together.
Excellent.
Callow is going to sort of pull Lucian aside and say as quietly as possible, but not necessarily like not a big deal if somebody else happens to hear. And sort of the only issue that I may see with Ismark accompanying us is, well, as he said, if we go past Valaki and on our way all the way to the Abbey, he may have to return, and that would necessitate him returning alone, which, well, frankly, seems like not the best idea in these lands to travel unaccompanied. Do we want to put him in that position?
I think that where we serve him and Irina best is if we convince him to completely abandon this godforsaken place. And if we can find a place of safety for her, perhaps we can persuade him to stay there as well. Instead of breaking this family apart, let's see if we can keep them together. They've already lost their father. Clearly, Barovia is right under Strahd's thumb with his castle, on the cliffs above. The further these two can get from here, the better.
Very well, you may be right. I suppose there doesn't appear to be much in the way of official duties as burgomaster that he can actually execute in order to improve the status of the inhabitants here of Barovia. So, indeed, as you say, perhaps this town is a bit of a lost cause.
Well, at least for now, but it also may benefit us to have two voices that know the customs of the area with us. I think you and I, Hieronymus, are in the same boat trying to row in the same direction. We stick out like sore thumbs, and it is very difficult not to do so when some members of our party are as passionate as they are about doing the good acts that they do. I think we're going to need some people that can speak the language, that know the customs, that can help us fit in better than we do. I feel like we stick out like rays of sunshine. As as dark and gloomy as I normally am, even I feel like the sun is shining brightly. Ismark and Irina will be heavily valued wherever we have to go.
Indeed, you speak truly, friend. This is a good course of action. I agree. I think I value your counsel in these sorts of matters. I will say that in this sort of strategy, I won't claim to have any particular expertise beyond simple common sense, but I'm not entirely sure how far that will get us in these lands.
Mm-hmm. I understand deeply how you're feeling. I have been a scholar for the last 200 years with my nose in books. I have all of the theoretical knowledge one could hope for and none of the practical application. I am trying to remain as confident and positive as I can here, but the weight of this place constantly bears down. And as much as we want to push forward, there's part of me that wants to just kind of curl up and hide. I have a feeling the only way we're going to get through this is if we all learn to compromise and make our best efforts at learning some new things along the way here. But
Callow is going to put his very tiny hand on Lucian's forearm and sort of pat it there and say, well, I can't necessarily know for certain whether or not I am indeed your elder, because frankly I'm not quite sure what your life story is, but I don't have the experience at this stage in my life very often of speaking to anybody who is more senior than myself. So all I can say is, well, I understand where you're coming from, and I think there's some strength in numbers. At least if we're all feeling this way, we may be able to help one another out.
You said Ismark is packing. When he's back, I'd want to ask him if he what he knows about Madame Eva, since that was one of the other leads that we were given along, that we can check in along the way. Maybe while we're traveling, actually, so we're not wasting more daylight.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell that he's packing in a bit of a hurry, though you might have gotten a sense that it had occurred to him that you guys might ask him to come. So he doesn't need as long to pack as Irina does, especially because Irina assumes that she's leaving for good, at least for the foreseeable future. So they try to quickly close up the house as well to help, you're leaving the house for a while, throw out all the food in their bags, etc. And is there anything else you guys want to do before you leave?
Nope.
All right.
When Courage went upstairs, she would have simply asked how Irina's doing, asked if Ismark was going with, and if she wasn't sure, I bet he would if you asked him, not knowing everything going on downstairs.
Arena will tell you that, she's very sad to be leaving her home, but knows that, like, this is the only way, and she's also doing it for the peace of mind of her brother, so that, he doesn't have to worry about her, and she doesn't have to become a shut-in in this house, which doesn't seem to be working anyway. And then when you guys go downstairs and see Ismark, she'll go to him and be like, brother, please, will you accompany us? It will make leaving easier. And he'll, show her his bag already packed, and they'll give each other big hugs, and like the sibling love is so clear here, not a creepy kind, just a nice kind. Just to be really clear. And they'll lock up the house, and you guys will head out. And again, unless there's anything else you want to do before you leave. All right. You head out of town, so the Old Spalvish Road runs directly through town. So you will start walking down that road, and this, for me, would be a good time for a break.
Huzzah.
All right, let's take 10. Is that too much? 5? Okay. All right. So you all leave town, leave Barovia, the village of Barovia, behind, and start walking down the Old Spalvish Road. The road is mostly just dirt but clearly hard packed dirt that's, traveled as much as anything's traveled in Barovia, land of. And about 3 hours into the trip, Lucian, you had wanted to ask Ismark about Madame Eva, right? Oh, he didn't have headphones on. So you guys are about 3 hours into the trip. Lucian, you'd wanted to ask Ismark about Madame Eva?
I did. If, Ismark, do you know anything of this Madame Eva that we were told to seek out?
I know very little. She's a Vistani leader. I know that much. But I think that is all I've really heard about her. Maybe some rumors that she can tell the future. I wish I could tell you more, my friend.
That's certainly helpful.
Ismark.
Yes.
Sorry, Lucian, to interrupt.
No, I was telling Miles he's a good boy, sorry. He was finally laying back down. My bad.
I don't want to interrupt that.
Who is this Miles?
It seems like all of Barovia is in the same curse, but have Barovia City and Valakay and Shezek and the Abbey, have the leaders of these establishments ever talked to each other? Ever tried to make a plan together?
To my knowledge, most of the burgomasters do not talk. It is, as we said, very difficult to travel. Most Barovians do not travel outside of their hometowns. And the burgomasters have not, in many generations, I assume, have not tried to do anything about the Devil Strahd. He is just the curse that we live with. What can we do? He's all powerful. We are just humans.
This is. It seems like you're concerned about leaving your burgomaster duties, but I would put forward that one of the duties of the burgomaster would probably be to communicate with the other burgomasters, and in a time when there's a great adversary, to band together, rally support. I'm not sure if you're planning on returning right away, but it might be worth it for you to go visit the other towns. If they don't, it sounds like they might not even know what's happening in Barovia, and they may come to your aid, especially if you could convince them that, once Strahd is done with Barovia, these other towns are next.
But this has been the case for all of time. Anytime rebellions have started in the past, they have been put down quite harshly, and everyone who participates dies.
But they sound like the rebellions in Barovia, the city.
The village. The last one, I believe, drew people from all over, not just the village.
Okay.
I mean, I will certainly. I think it's a great idea that I will meet with the burgomaster of Valaki. I think I will certainly try to do that.
Well, and maybe the other point is, it isn't necessarily an uprising, an army, a challenge, but some other solution.
Like what?
Well, there's from my domain. There might be other religious angles to take, some other god to get involved, to call out for, to beseech. I'm sure there's natural solutions. Something with sunlight or daylight seems to be possible. I'm sure Callow, our good professor, and Lucian would have their own ideas.
Well, yes, I can't help but agree that might and sheer force doesn't seem to be the best strategy in this instance. My only hope is that we gain some additional information on our journeys that can help inform the tactics that we may take against the Strahd.
It sounds very wise. I know so little of the other parts of Barovia, except what is in myth. So perhaps you're right. Perhaps Valaki has the forces, and they do not know how bad things are, as you suggested. Maybe the burgomaster there is very wise. And we shall see. All right. So after about 3 hours, you come to you hear it first, but you come to this huge rushing river. It's 50 feet wide. It looks like it's deep. It's moving quickly. And it is clear as the blue winter sky, and clearly runs throughout the valley. And Ismark tells you, this is the River Ivlis. It runs through all of Barovia.
Is there a crossing?
Yes, there is an arching stone bridge.
About how far across?
50 feet.
How does the river look? Is it as depressing as everything else?
I would say no. I would say this river, I mean, even leaving the village, there's still mists everywhere. It's still very gray. But just leaving the village, you already feel, I mean, very slightly and comparatively lighter. Because you don't have the clear signs of like abandoned town around you. And this valley could be considered at least very beautiful. Like you can see some mountains up ahead. You've got this clear river running in front of you. The trees, although ominous, also look healthy. Like it's green and kind of mysterious, but but perhaps in an interesting way.
I'm
nice.
very happy about this.
Yeah, what are you doing, Elandra?
Smiling.
I love it.
Sally, I can hear you talking from the other room, but I cannot hear you through the mic.
I can hear you through Connor's mic.
Right.
Oh. No. Next to the like mic icon at the bottom of the screen, there's a little arrow. Make sure your headphones are selected as the mic source, maybe.
Not hearing you now.
Oh, I see. Yes, I think it seems like a good river. I don't see anything. Well, let me ask Emily. Would I see anything that's like off, or is the water clear? Or anything weird growing?
Water is clear, but feel free to make a nature insight check. Did I say insight? As in nature insight, right? Okay.
Yes.
Whichever you prefer.
I am rolling terrible.
Oh my gosh. No, it's not that bad. All right, 12. Yeah, it looks like the river looks pretty healthy. You don't see anything unusual. Like, there's definitely some new flora around, but it doesn't look, like, weird or give you bad vibes.
Okay.
In fact, you see some really interesting mushrooms that you know are non-toxic and edible, and you have this deep experience with mushrooms.
Perfect. So I'll scoop them up.
Perfect.
And then I was going to ask if he's crossed this river before.
No, I have not crossed it. I have come to this bridge, but this is the furthest from home I will ever be.
Take one more step. The farthest from
Irina crossed it before?
Thank you for picking up on my reference. Irina says, no, I've never actually left the village before, except, just the very outskirts. This is incredible. It's so beautiful. I had no idea Barovia was this beautiful.
Excellent.
What is your marching order in this road? I'd say, it'd be awkward for you guys to walk, 7 abreast.
How
I will
about
happily go first.
All right.
3 and 4?
I can go with her.
2, 3, 2?
Sure, 2, 3, 2. Let's do it. So Elandra and Beatrix in the front. Who's the 3 in the middle? You can tell me where you want Ismark and Arena. We'll go wherever.
I feel like Lucian and Callow were with. We were just talking with Ismark, so probably near wherever Ismark is.
All right, so you 3 will be in the middle, which puts
Ismark and
Courage and Arena.
Lucian with Callow in the middle, and we're just kind of swinging him down the road.
It's horrible. Amazing. Could my 2 lovely ladies in the front, please, that feels, for some reason that felt really, offensive. Would Elandra and Beatrix please make perception checks for me?
Yeah, they're smart too, GM.
I know. Ooh, amazing.
Woo. I also rolled high. Mine is 18 plus 2. 20. Dirty 20.
Thanks.
Dang. Okay. So after you guys cross this river, I'm assuming you do, there's nothing here. It's just I had this, the scene already existed in Alchemy, and I was like, all right, whatever. It's
Love it.
we're not doing anything. And I was like, all right. I mean, I'm not going to not use it. It's so pretty. After you guys cross this river, Elandra and Beatrix, you guys are keeping an eye out, just for things, dangers, etc. And you notice, as some of the brush sort of grows over the road a bit, you notice a glint, and you see a wolf trap, just off the path. It looks like someone had tried to hide it under some pine needles and detritus.
Well, I'm definitely going to set this trap.
All right,
and make sure it can't kill anything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
trip it.
Trap a trap. Thank you, trip it.
Yeah, you can absolutely try to do that. Make let's say a survival check. But I would accept other things if you have suggestions.
Well, I don't think it's gonna kill me, but...
So you've seen wolf traps like this before, and you're trying to disarm it, I guess, would be the word, make it go off.
Yep.
And I guess maybe Elandra assumes it's older than maybe it actually is, and it snaps faster than you expect. And you take where's that dice? It's not much, don't worry. It just barely catches your finger. There we go. Oh, no, I disagree with that. The dice gods are still smoking. You take 4 points of damage.
Ooh.
I rolled it twice, and it rolled force twice.
I guess she's meant to take 4 points.
Yep. But you're not trapped in it. It's just,
Did my finger get cut off? Like, what's the
No, it's
okay.
just, it's bleeding real good.
All right.
But I assume you, patch it up with, everyone's like, oh my god! Or at least Ismark and
There's
Rowena.
blood everywhere!
Alright. You guys keep walking. Is there anything you'd like to do on this journey before you would arrive at the Serpool encampment?
Callow will, having seen the blood on Elandra's hand, will come up and take a small little vial and pour a little substance on there and cast. If you will allow, I'm reflavoring it as healing wort, not healing word, like St. John's wort, because it's not just wort; it's a little potion-y thing, so that'll actually be one. So it's actually 5 points of healing. So you're all the way back.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be very curious about this concoction.
Yes, it's just a little recipe of my own creation. As I have said, I'm particularly interested in the combination of various components to create certain desirable magical effects.
Is it all natural?
Define natural.
Does it all come from the earth?
Well, ultimately, everything comes from the earth, doesn't it?
Are there any chemicals involved?
Or the gods?
Well, strictly speaking, my dear, everything's a chemical.
Except gods.
This feels like a useless conversation.
Elandra just walks away.
That's a useless example.
That's a wide.
Callow, that is quite amazing. Who needs the gods when you have your knowledge?
Chemicals.
Ismark, we'll ask. Ismark, any idea why there'd be a trap like this here?
Well, I'm sure you know Strahd uses wolves to spy for him. The Devil's Strahd, pardon me. Uses these wolves to spy for him, so I assume that someone who travels this road sometimes maybe sets traps to help make it safer.
And was this trap on the road or side of the road?
I would say it's kind of on the side of the road, as in it's not right in the middle, but it's enough so that if something were pursuing or coming out of the woods at a particular angle, it would definitely get caught. If it was not paying attention. If your scouts hadn't been keeping such a great lookout, maybe one of you would have gotten caught in it.
Since it's sprung, it seems like it's no use here. Is it's takeable? Can it be taken?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. So you go to pick it up, and you see it has a chain on it that is, like, you follow it. It's not long, it's 3 feet long. And it's attached to a tree. If you'd like to make a strength check to try to remove it from said tree.
Is there a lock or a clasp?
Sure, we can say a lock. So we can do strength or dexterity, depending on how you're approaching this lock.
No, I don't think that's gonna be worth it.
All right.
Huh. Fascinating. Right. Good spot.
All right. You all travel throughout the afternoon. It's very hilly, Barovia. Like you're sort of walking along a valley, and I will say. So I want to give you guys something as players. Ismark would have drawn you a very loose map of what he knows of Barovia. It will not have the level of detail of the map of Barovia that I'm going to show you, but I feel like it's helpful. So as characters, you have a very general gist of this, but I feel like it's easier for me to explain to you all if you can see the map. So it should be in your handouts now.
Boom.
Yep.
Loading. Oh yeah, I see it.
I'm like, can I make it bigger? I don't know how to make it bigger.
I was like, good lord, that's...
Here we go. I think I fixed it.
Oh, if you just zoom.
Yep, you got
Oh
it.
yeah.
Like use the command.
Oh yeah, and I just turned it on to where you can make it bigger.
Cool.
So you guys started out coming on the right side of the map, the east side.
Yep.
And so you just crossed this river. You're sort of winding through the forest towards the sort of pool.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So yeah, you can hear the river throughout your journey. And overall, besides the wolf trap, it's pretty calm. Until just as the sun is setting, and you guys are pushing like 6:37, so like it's getting pretty dusky. You come across the Tisser Pool encampment. So let's do this first. Yeah. So the canopy of mist and branches suddenly gives way to a clearing next to the river, and you see a small lake that is, small, but several hundred feet across. As you walk up, you also notice that the road has more wagon ruts in it here, and you see 5 colorful rounded tents, each about 10 feet in diameter, and they're pitched outside of a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons, so Oregon Trail. And then there's a much larger tent that stands right by the shore of the lake, and it looks like it's really lit from within. You also see horses drinking from the river, and you can hear an accordion. People are singing, and you can see people sort of dancing around the bonfire. And there's a small footpath that like continues over to this encampment, just off the road.
Well, we've made it.
Do we see anyone? Any people?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of people singing and talking around this campfire.
Wonder where registration is.
I would suggest that we don't try to approach stealthily in any regard. Let's not surprise anybody.
Fair.
Be as obvious as possible.
Walk over slowly but confidently. I'm on board.
Firmly but gently.
So
Yeah.
those of us wearing armor, feel free to clang a bit.
Chainmail doesn't
Love
clang. I don't know if you've been listening to me walk.
I feel
Should we
like-
sing? Can we sing? Is that something?
You can
Yeah, I
ask
feel
them.
like-
It kind of chitters a little bit. It doesn't clang.
And I feel like approaching army isn't the sound we're going for.
No.
No. Just I don't want to surprise anybody.
Oh, more like-
I feel as though,
Like to warn a bear when you're hiking.
Does anyone know a song we could all sing together?
No. No such song exists. And Lucian just starts to walk toward the camp.
Alondra, you can also just sing a song.
I did know this priestess of Celeborn once.
I was gonna say happy birthday, but I'm not sure Lucian knows that one.
I just thought it might help us come in a little more softly, but let's just go.
If you have a song, Elandra, I'll sing it.
Totally fine. He's already halfway over there.
I feel like Lucian moves very quietly, though. Like, just naturally, kind of like a gentle swish at most. But I'm assuming you all catch up. Maybe, are you... I'd say Irina really likes your idea, Elandra. And she convinces you to sing a popular Barovian birthday song that everyone knows, of course.
Perfect.
It's like the happy birthday, like the non-copyrighted version.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Is Mark
as long
joins
as we're all
in?
going in there laughing, I think we're okay.
And as you guys walk up, you see the people at the campfire do turn to look at you, and they go, "Hey, are you friends?"
Hey!
We are friends.
Totally friends! Hollow!
What are your names? Come join us, but maybe we want to see your weapons first.
Oh, yeah, here's my glaive. It's strapped to my back. Not holding it. I'm Beatrix.
Beatrix, it's wonderful to meet you.
Courage will hold up her mace, which has light cast on it. Mine glows!
Wow, amazing! Ah!
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to pull out my moon touch scimitar that also glows.
Wow, look at that!
Hey,
They have
yeah.
glowing weapons! Glowing weapons! You should get one of those, Vasily. Oh my gosh, I want one. Like...
Yeah, we're making our way to the Valley Caves. Heard that this was the place to stop. Is it alright if we join you all for the night?
Of course! We've already had dinner, but feel free to use the campfire. We are happy to have guests.
Right. I'm Courage, and we'll make introductions.
Wonderful to meet you all. Ah, fellow Barovians. The rest of you are not from around here, we think.
No, we're not. We are from far, far away.
Yes, tell us more. We are travelers too.
Have you ever been to Faerun?
You see, like, one woman pipes up. She's like, I've been to Faerun many times. It is one of my favorite places.
Oh, where? Where in Faerun have you been?
Oh, I love the Sword Coast. Neverwinter is, amazing. It's so big. It's so much bigger than anything here in Barovia.
We are from the Sword Coast. Well, some of us are from the Sword Coast. I'm from the Sword Coast. I'm from Liamsholt. Have you ever been there?
I've never heard of Liamsholt, but I will have to check it out on my next journey through the mists.
How do you go through the mist?
It's, it's part of being Vistani. I'm Vistana. It's, we have our ways. Hey, she, tries to give you some wine.
Callow will accept some of the wine, but also be like, now again, about the traveling through the mist, to back to Faerun. You say this is something that you can, certain sort of Vistani knowledge. This is not something that I'm aware of. I'm a professor here. I'm just, I'm curious, purely intellectually curious how this may be achieved.
The same woman, and she introduces herself to you as Natasha. Yes, well, it's not like a skill that you can learn. It's like part of being Vistani that you're able to do it, but to become Vistani, it's like a whole process. I mean, we allow people, but it takes many years, and traveling through the mist is like a boon that we have.
I see.
Madame Eva sort of knows about how it works. I don't ask too many questions because we just do it, It's wonderful. We travel, but this is ultimately our home where we have to rest, and we're so lucky to be granted this permission to travel by the Count Strahd.
Your ability to travel through the mist comes from Count Strahd.
Oh, well, it's less the ability to travel through the mist that comes from it, and more like he allows our ability to function here because he really likes us, so.
Oh, dear.
He likes you.
You see, like, one of the guys kind of, like, tugging at her, tugging at Natasha, like, Keep going.
You mentioned Madame Eva. We've heard of her. We were actually, as a matter of fact, hoping to meet her and hear a bit of learn a bit of her knowledge.
She's like, oh yes, Madame Eva, she lives here. And behind you hear a really deep voice, and someone's like, it was fated that you would visit our humble camp. Madame Eva foretold for coming. She awaits you, and gestures towards like the big tent that you saw.
Great! All right. Good to know. Let's go. I'm gonna start walking towards the
All right. Ismark and Arena decide to stay back at the fire. With the Vistani, they're still like eating some dinner. I assume you guys kind of like ate during this time. As you guys head towards the tent, and we're gonna try something. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, in just a moment. I'm trying to switch the scene. Okay, let's see if this works. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, it's like automatically a rolling initiative, but I'm trying to get it to go to the tactical map so that you guys have a different scene.
I think we all just have to click on it.
Okay, click on the tactical map. That's where our other scenes are going to be.
Click. Where is the tac? Wait, click
Oh,
roll initiative.
For me, it's
top. Yeah, I see it. All right.
Oh, got it.
Got it. In the party.
Yeah, we've got some tarot card looking things on a table.
yes.
But we're not rolling initiative.
You're not actually. You don't need to roll initiative. I mean, if you want to go in weapons blazing, like that is up to you. But I would not recommend it.
Eldritch Blast.
Pew 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 pew. All right. Now I have to figure out where I put this. See.
Does anyone else feel weird about leaving Irina out there?
I'm sure she'll be okay. For a minute.
Okay.
If we hear something weird, we can always turn right around and come back. But I understand why you're worried.
Elandra, if you'd like to do an insight check on these Vistani and how safe you think they are. Yep, go for it.
Can Ismark stay with? Well,
Ismark was going to stay with her.
Yeah, Ismark is with her.
Oh, wow, look at that. Dirty 20. Yeah, these folks seem like they're clearly having a good time, but you also get the sense that, like, they very much care about hospitality and taking care of guests. And you feel good about leaving them. You're not far away. The tent, like, you're just right there. Like, if anything were to happen, you would hear it. So as you all enter this tent, the tent flap closes noiselessly behind you, and the sounds of the revelry around the campfire are dulled. Magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in a red velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. Sheila looks up at you as you enter, her voice crackling like dry weeds. At last, you have arrived!
Hello.
Indeed we have.
Madam Eva.
Indeed I am.
I'm Beatrix Breakbones.
Of course I know that, my dear. I've
What's my
been
name?
waiting for you. Your name is Courage Puredeed, and it is lovely to meet you at long last.
One of us.
Did you say Kirby Perdita?
Yeah, I did, dear. That is her name.
It's almost. Almost. What about you?
Right? And she
I
looks at
point
you.
at Callow. Who's he?
That's Hieronymus Callow, of course.
So why have we come here?
Why don't you tell me?
So in
No,
the
my lady, I prefer to continue this game. Tell us our business.
as Callow says that, Lucian is going to try to. Is she sitting or is she moving amongst us?
She's sitting.
So Lucian is going to try to kind of keep himself in the back of the group, and under his breath is going to whisper, "Depre Magica," and he's casting Detect Magic quietly.
Ooh. All right, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Going to cast. Is it
Unless
possible
you
to
have
use?
something that...
Is it possible to use guidance on myself before I cast the spell?
I feel like Matt doesn't usually allow for that. But I don't know why.
And guidance would also be verbal and somatic.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's right.
So I'm just gonna cast Detect Magic quietly and concentrate on it.
Okay.
Is there a chair across from her? at the
There
table?
sure isn't. She just has this one chair, and you get the sense that
Alright.
like she wants to make people uncomfortable.
And he got a 17 on his sleight of hand.
17 on sleight of hand. Give me just a second. I don't have her stat block handy. Ah, there it is. What was it again?
17?
So you cast it, but when you're done, you look up and you see her staring directly at you, looking in your eyes.
I'm just going to give her one of Lucian's odd, toothy smiles. Like,
She does
Just
it right
as-
back to you.
just as oddly smiley and grinny as he possibly can be.
Yeah, you all see this like weird exchange where she, like, well, Lucian's behind you, so you don't necessarily see him. But all of a sudden, she goes quiet, is looking behind you, like over your shoulders, and goes,
I'm gonna turn around and go, what did you do?
Also, you cast Detect Magic, so let's see. The crystal ball is giving off a magical aura. What is I don't know, how much do you care about like the magic school? Because I'm terrible with that.
Not he's really casting it to help determine how much he thinks this is a grift versus how much he thinks she's actually some kind of oracle.
Okay. Yeah, so the crystal ball, definitely magical. The deck of cards sitting on her table. Also, it's one of those things where it's like, they don't seem like they're necessarily magical herself, but like they're, what's the word I want? It's like a focus. Like a focus that you might use for spell casting. I'd say those are the main pings that you get in the room, in the tent. Well, dearies, what has brought you to my humble abode tonight?
I think you came recommended to us.
Really now? Who's been talking me up?
There were 3 nice ladies in the tavern back in the village of Barovia who had a lot to say about you.
Hopefully all good.
Yes, they said you had many answers to questions we might have. And
questions.
as we are strangers in a strange land, we thought we should seek you out.
Well, I'm always happy to help if I can. Who are these lovely ladies?
What were their names? Such a note.
Alinka, Mirabelle, and Sorby, I believe. Although
Yes, Elandra, Mirabelle, and Sorbia.
Those dears.
We're not getting them in trouble, are you?
No, not at all, not at all. I want to thank them for sending you all to me. I love meeting new people.
Funny you didn't know their names.
Oh, well, I use my magic for what I want to.
Oh.
So we all have theories about why we might be here, but we don't have a unified opinion. So maybe you can tell us why we're here. Because from our perspective, we were walking through the woods, and then we ended up behind an iron gate, and now we are here.
Put some
Well,
stuff in
We
between.
were here. What did you think?
I said put some stuff in between.
I cannot tell you, but perhaps the card. I mean, why do you think you're here is really the question.
Well, we all have different answers to that question.
Because we got a note.
I say let's do a card reading.
I like you. You've got spirit, my dear. Yes, I agree. Let's do a card reading. You, hush! Bearer of the secrets of Candlekeep, you first. And she'll be shuffling these cards in front of you. Draw the first card.
Interesting. Lucian is going to reach forward, cut the deck in half, cut it in half again, and then slide the very first card off the top. That would have been the same card whether he had cut them or not.
I see you're familiar with the Taroka. This card will tell you of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. And as you draw the card and flip it over, you look up at her again as you turn this card over, and you notice that her eyes have gone completely white. As you turn it over, you draw the 9 of stars of the Conjurer. And she says in this, very different, sort of toneless voice, I see a dead village drowned by a river, ruled by one who has brought great evil into the world. And that card should be in your handout now. And then she'll sort of come back to herself and be like, you, come here, Kirby. Draw our next card.
Kirby.
This card will tell of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. Oh, you're muted.
It's courage, thank you. And we'll
Yes.
take the top card.
All right. So as you touch it, you can tell that she's channeling some divination magic through these. You turn it over and you have drawn the 4 of stars, the Abjurer. She says, I see a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. Look to the highest peak. And then her eyes become wide again. She looks over at you, Elandra, and she gestures for you with her gnarled fingers. Protector of the Moonstone of the Lunar Blade. Such a pleasure to meet you. Why don't you draw the next card that will tell us of power and strength of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight.
Oh, perfect!
Wait.
I'm so excited.
I'm sorry, Madam Ava, what was my card symbolic of?
Oh, I don't remember. When I'm divinating, it doesn't remember what I say.
Can I
but-
draw again?
The Holy Protector.
You cannot.
It's in the handout.
It's on the handout. So, Elandra, you draw the next card.
Yep.
You flip it over. It's the 5 of Glyphs, the Druid. I see an evil tree grows atop a hill of graves where the ancient dead sleep. The ravens can help you find it. Look for the treasure there.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, my dear. Now you, Hieronymus, truest love of Helena. You next. And she pauses as I assume you kind of step up to the table.
Yes, and Hieronymus will sort of pause for a minute and sort of consider what she just said, especially given the sort of like official titles that she has given for everybody else, and then what she has sort of given for Callow, and then draw the card.
As you do, she says, "This will be a difficult road. You will need friends, or at least allies." And as you turn it over, she says, the Seer, a card from the high deck. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in your battle against darkness. Look for a dusk elf living among the Vistani. He has suffered a great loss and is haunted by dark dreams. Help him, and he will help you in return. No. And then she'll look over Hieronymus's top of Hieronymus's head. And you, daughter of Liam's Hold, channeler of a power you do not yet understand. Don't think I have forgotten you. Will you draw our last card, please?
Okay.
Your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him and to the answers you seek. You flip the card over. This is a weird looking one. It's like a skull in a bell jar. And she chuckles a bit. Of course, he lurks in the darkness where the morning light once shone. A sacred place. And with that, she returns, and you kind of see, she slumps a little bit. She's exhausted from this effort.
What? Thank you. Can we get you anything? Beverage?
Oh, yes, please bring me some wine. You're such a dear.
That was very enlightening. Thank you, Madam Ava.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
One of the cards spoke of a dusk elf living among your people. Does that ring any bells?
Oh, not to me. I don't know him. No elves in this camp, but, there are camps of Vistani all around Barovia. You'll find him.
Mm-hmm.
In a couple of minutes, Courage will return with a tankard of wine with the help of Ismark and Arena.
And they'll stand outside the tent, they're very curious, do a little wave, and she'll be like, but she doesn't gesture them in.
Hold on, should I have gotten some for all? Can we stay and chat for a while, Madam Ava?
I suppose. What would you like to talk about?
Just because you look like you were tired there, I don't know if you need a while to rest, if there's a refractory period, or...
I feel fabulous now that you've gotten me this wine, darling.
Oh, then I'll go get the jug.
In your
Anyone...
opinion...
Callow drinks? Beatrix? Elandra?
Yeah, Yeah, I would love some.
Yes, a drink would be much appreciated.
That would be awesome. Yes.
I'll see what I can rustle up. Maybe some chairs, too. Can we bring in chairs, madam?
Absolutely not. If you're going to stand here, you must stand.
Seems arbitrary, but okay.
I'm going to gracefully sit on the floor, or try to be graceful about it.
If you're close enough, she'll try to pat you on the head in, like, what she sees as a very loving and not, like, what's the word I want, demeaning way.
Patronizing way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say, you probably already know that we are guiding a young woman away from the village of Barovia because she has attracted undue interest. What do you feel is the safest place for her?
Only the cards will tell you, my dear.
Can I ask the cards again?
No, they're done for the night.
Can you provide any further guidance on our cards?
I have already given you quite a bit of information, but I like your boldness, all of you. Take what you can get.
How long have things been like this in Barovia?
Forever.
Do you know Strahd?
Of course I know Strahd. Everyone knows Strahd.
But do you know him personally?
I mean, I've seen him a few times, but...
Are you afraid of him?
This is Emily considering she wouldn't pause. I think it's always good to be cautious about a person that trades their soul.
Is that how he got his power? He traded his soul?
You can see she's struggling to talk a little bit, as if there's some kind of magical force on her, but she says, well, yes, he traded his soul for immortality. That is why he's undead.
Traded his soul to whom? Do you know?
Dark powers.
I'm gonna sort of wheel around and look at Lucian.
Yep. Lucian, do you know anything about this?
Can you...
Dark powers seem like maybe your area.
Madam Eva, do you know which dark powers and anything more about this bargain that Strahd made? The more clarity you can provide, the better we will be positioned to tread carefully here in Barovia. We seek to have as little impact as possible. And unfortunately, we are such strangers to this place. We fear we're going to misstep. And the more you can share with us, the more insight we have, the less likely we will be to cause any waves or disturbances while we're here.
I don't believe in politeness. I like your brashness. I think you should lean into that.
So,
I'm this close to casting suggestion.
I
can certainly try.
Courage will return. So, got a bit of a hodgepodge here. Something that's apple-based, something that seems almond-based. And GM, you can decide however much Courage has to spend to rustle up some beverages.
You don't have to spend anything. They'll, especially once you come out and say, Madam Eva has requested these, they'll give them to you, no problem.
And this
I'll take the apple drink.
Sure, it's like a...
Thank you.
It's quite a hard liquor, so sip it, I guess. And this one's made with, I think, garlic and pomegranate. I'll hand it to Lucian.
Well,
Lucian kind of literally ignores the drink, but leans in toward Madame Eva and says,
Okay, I'll have it then.
You say you appreciate our brashness, then I ask you this. When you say that Strahd is undead, what exactly do you mean? There are many different creatures that can claim to be of the undying or the undead across all of the different realms. What manner of creature is he?
She pauses, leans forward, gets really close to you, and goes, "The immortal kind."
Did I miss anything?
No, not a thing.
Okay. I have a question.
Of
Then,
course.
Madame Eva, what do you want?
I want to hear what I want. They just always want things from me. Answers all the time. I would love some peace. I would love peace in Barovia, and I think you all can do it.
Beatrix
Follow the
brightens
clues,
up
follow the cards.
visibly. She looks way happier.
And if I may ask, what, in your opinion, constitutes peace in Barovia? What would be the sort of deciding factor, if it will, that would cause that peace to come about?
Oh, I think if I can't tell you how, but peace, people are very unhappy. I'm sure you've seen. You come through that village, Metalenka, etc. I know you did. Would love for people to be happier, and I think you all can figure it out.
Madame Eva, I think you already know I'm committed to this road. But I would eventually like to go home again, if I can, once I've achieved what I intend to achieve. And I also have no interest in compelling these people to help me if what they would really rather do is go home. It said your people can travel the mists. Could one of us use this method of going back to Faerun?
Oh no, you all can't do it. Sorry.
Not.
Trust me, we would if we can decide, we would do it, but we can't. So I stay here all the time. I don't travel anymore. Much too old. Bones don't do well in the mists.
What if you heard of...
Madame Eva, Madame Eva, I think we've heard everything that we need to hear from you. I think
I agree.
This has been very instructive. I think we will go out to the fire and we'll perhaps just take a rest, because I think we've heard everything we need to hear from you, and given you all the information that we need to give you for this moment in time right here.
Wonderful. Yes, you young people, go be young together. Live. Ha-ha!
Yes, very good. Shall we all? Let's all go out. Let's all go out of the tents now and leave.
Meta,
would
you like to come out by the fire?
Oh no, I'm much too old.
Oh, I could carry you.
No, I would just ruin things for you young people. You have fun. I'm going to take a nap.
I have one final question.
Yes, of course.
If we find ourselves in trouble, can we seek your guidance again some way?
Of course. Come back here. I live here.
As Beatrix is leaving the tent, she's going to turn around and say, "Thank you for a little hope. It's
You're
been hard
welcome. Be careful with those voices, dear.
It's just the one voice."
Elandra, as you leave, she'll give you a little wink. I can't wait.
I hope it's just the one voice. Oh God, what if it's not just the one voice? Oh no.
So as we start to walk out of the tent, before we like fully immerse ourselves back in sort of the, I assume like the rest of the Vistani are still like playing music and gathering and dancing and stuff. Callow will try to sort of like just kind of get everybody down to his level to a certain extent, and sort of like, I'm not entirely sure that I trust exactly where the loyalties of these Vistani lie. What the woman by the campfire, that Miss Natasha said earlier, that they are allowed to travel the mists by the grace of the Devil's Strahd. Well,
Yeah, there's some kind of bond between them.
I'm
And
not
yet it also
entirely
seems
sure.
clear that Madame Eva wants us to succeed in getting rid of Strahd. So
In that, I'm not sure I agree, or rather, I'm not sure that we have enough evidence to most assuredly say that we have the same opinion of the Devil's Strahd as Madame Eva. She has given us information, true, cryptic though it may be, but, well, she says she wants peace for Barovia. Peace could take many forms. Peace could, as you say, perhaps mean the end of the reign of the Devil's Strahd. It could indeed mean the end of any sort of resistance to Strahd. Total compliance.
People who are unhappy. People who are crushed under the thumb of an overlord are not happy.
No, indeed, but, well, a graveyard can be a very peaceful place if you get my meaning.
Oh, come on. She didn't give those vibes. Alright, well, we can set a watch if you're really uncomfortable.
I don't believe that they mean to cause us any direct harm here. Only that, well, I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to trust many of them with a great deal of information.
Seems like they have a lot already, but I take your meaning.
It's an interesting question. Say she was in allegiance with Strahd. To what point? Maybe to have us do some task that he needs done but can't do himself, but he knew if he told us to that we would never follow. It's possible. Or she's just trying to be subtle.
But she didn't really ask us to do anything.
Well,
Indeed.
she did indicate that she thinks
very
that
valid points. You have a good point, Miss Courage.
I
simply
would-
advise caution.
I would like to ask each of you something. We have all known each other, but only for a short time. She referred to all of us in different ways. I, for one, am surprised that she knew of my time studying in Candlekeep. It is not something that I have, I think, even shared with this group. When she referenced each of you, how true was her mark?
Well, she is a seer. Yes?
And
she was right about me.
I have met seers in the past where it was a simple grift. She did not ask for money and seemed to know things about us that we have not even shared amongst one another.
Yeah. I mean, she had me right. I think you all could have already guessed what she said, so I'm not a particularly good test. It's absolutely true. I'm from Liam's Hold. You all know that. It's also absolutely true that I have a god rattling around in my brain with whom I'm not particularly familiar. So none of that was surprising to me, but what about the rest of you?
Well, in a manner of speaking, she did reference something true from my past. I'm not sure if she characterized it exactly correctly, but, well, it's been some time. Perhaps my memory is a bit foggy.
I mean, our greatest question was the name Kirby. Any association you can make there?
It's funny. It's a name I haven't heard in a while.
So you have heard it.
Look, all the good heroes have good hero names. Okay?
I thought she was messing with you.
Like, we've read stories about Hardened Brightwood and Justice Torchbearer and Chapel Downshield. Even in our group, Beatrix Breakbones, Elandra Moonshade. These are cool names. Lucian Ravenstone. My mother, her name was Faith. She went by Faye. She didn't like virtue names and declared that no daughter of hers would have such nonsense. So I was named Kirby.
Kirby. I like
It's
it.
not a bad name.
I like it very much.
I lean down to Callow and say, Hieronymus Callow is a perfectly good name. I don't know why he didn't include you in that. I find it magnificent. I would take it as a nom de plume if you didn't exist.
Well, thank you. To be quite honest, I don't particularly care why she didn't mention it. Doesn't bother me much. It's just a name.
No, it's very professorial.
And I say that as a player, fully aware of the lore that gnomes are fucking batshit about their names and love names.
I'm gonna lean down and whisper to Callow, I'm not 100% sure she can pronounce Hieronymus.
I'm ominous.
It's a family name.
It's a good name.
So,
Thank you.
So, Lucian, to answer your question, she does seem to know things.
So we find ourselves at an encampment in the middle of nowhere with an oracle, a seer of such power that she not only knows who each of us are, complete newcomers to this realm, but then provides us directed, if cryptic, insights as to where we can find information, allies, a weapon, and our greatest enemy. To what ends? This all continues to add to this riddle of Strahd. Why we were brought here, who it was that tricked us. We keep being given these small, mysterious glimpses into the truth, but to what end? Again, I say, to what end?
Say that again, Jeanette.
What would you have us do?
I don't know. All I can think is that this fills me with even more concern. I can't help but feel as if we are all being manipulated, and I don't know toward what end.
I think part of the puzzle, it's many ends conflicting. One burgomaster wrote a note out of care for his daughter. Another faked a note, perhaps Strahd, to lure and prey. Madam's given us clues here to perhaps fight something that she does not dare fight openly. It seems there's many threads here.
Well, if I may, we do have a stated goal, at least for the moment. We are to escort Miss Arena to Vallaki. For now, I suggest that we stay the course in that regard, make our way to Vallaki, and then determine our best plan of action from there. I'm not sure that I'm quite ready to start striking out in these different directions that may have been suggested by this Madame Ava. Again, as I have my doubts, or perhaps misgivings, about her allegiance. So that's my suggestion. For the time being, in the more immediate term, I think we need to take a bit of rest here, but in the morning, I suggest we make ourselves scarce from this encampment.
I see no reason to disagree with that.
I agree, except it looks like we have some puzzles to solve from Madam, and it seems like one of them we might want to solve here before we leave.
She did herself say that there was no such elf among her group of Vistani. A dusk elf living among the Vistani. We may need to seek other encampments elsewhere.
Perhaps
Should we ask around this camp?
Why not?
I've never met a dusk elf before. Does anyone know?
No.
What they look like, act like, sound like?
I feel like I might know.
My grandparents are elves, but they're just like the normal kind.
Lucian, you might know what this refers to. Because, you're old and learned.
What is a dusk elf?
Like a drow.
Gotcha.
I don't think any of... Like, Hieronymus, you might be able to guess as well, because you're also really old.
Yeah.
Seen the world, if you will, but they're, like, drow aren't just, like, walking around, because they're discriminated against pretty heavily in Faerun.
I will share that with the group, that we are likely seeking a dark-skinned elf. We could certainly begin to ask among the Vistani here. We have other leads as well. We're looking for a village that has been lost to a river or water of some kind, an ancient graveyard, fallen house marked with dragons. Figure out how to pepper that into your questions, and let's.
I mean, we could start with Arena and Ismark if we trust them.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they've made some friends since they've been out there.
Mm-hmm.
We also try and be as casual as possible before we ask about this. Again, as I said, I think we need a bit more information before we simply start chasing these leaves. We may be being manipulated into potential traps.
I like that, and I like to go back to Lucian's suggestion of subtlety. I don't know we have to be that sneaky, but perhaps if we had some plausible explanation for why we're here and what we're doing, perhaps we can stick with Callow's truth, the Professor Emeritus seeing the world, and whereas coterie, that's a word, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
I mean, the card that I drew was a sword of sunlight, which might be valuable for us.
And what were the clues there?
The ravens can help me find it.
Is that a sports team of some sort?
No, the birds.
Oh, right.
Birds.
I think that each of our cards gave us different clues that we might be able to casually or discreetly ask questions about. And we could hide those questions just under our general need to learn more about Barovia, since we are not from here and we are traveling through it. So things like the card that Kirby pulled, it says to seek the highest peak. We could ask about mountain ranges. What is here in Barovia. Elandra's card talked about graves where ancient dead sleep. Are there any ancient battlefields or graveyards or cemeteries that we could find? Callow's card, of trying to find a dusk elf. They are fairly rare. Asking about a dark-skinned elf might allow us to, at least get some direction there. And the final card pulled by Beatrix, I don't think any of us would be surprised, and I'm sure we were all thinking that our enemy with powers beyond mortality must be the Devil Strahd. So I think if we can focus on just asking, some of those simple questions, we don't have to be overt, in saying, hey, I was given this card and this is what I'm looking for, but we can certainly ask questions about the lay of the land in Barovia and try and see if that gives us some direction.
Sounds great. That's a great idea. And Beatrix is going to cheerfully march over to the nearest Strahd and say, hey, do you know of any places that used to be holy but aren't anymore?
And as you all make these plans on how you're going to convince the Vistani, subtly, not subtly, to give you this information, we will close tonight's session.
Such subtlety.
The most. Such subtlety. Great job, guys. Also, you can close out of her tent if you feel so inclined, but... Ooh, how do I end the encounter? That way. Bam. That way. All right. Great job!
Yay! Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Very creepy and
Halloween.
That's funny. This one had none of the traditional Halloween stuff in it. I sort of planned if you got a certain distance, but I think it's still great.
Yes.
Oh, it had the vibes. Everything about this game is creepy, spooky vibes.
Creepy, spooky.
Yes.
That's the goal.
We usually like to schedule some more sessions. Yes, it's usually a good.
Should we play again?
I hope so. I want you guys to play again.
I mean, we got all the secrets, I feel like, at this point. Writes itself.
Yeah, she gave you all the answers, guys.
Right, yeah.
It's
simple.
We have